friends, welcome to Conduct Classes. In this video, we'll talk about disaster management. Hopefully, you will like the entire video. So, in introduction, disaster is defined as the disruption on a massive scale, either natural or man-made, occurring in short or long periods. Disaster can lead to human, material, economic, or environmental hardships which can be beyond the bearable capacity of the affected society. As per the statistics, India as a whole is vulnerable to 30 different types of disasters. Okay, that will affect the economic, social, and human development potential to such an extent that it will have long-term effects on the productivity and macroeconomic performance. Okay, so disaster can be defined as the disruption in a massive scale, either it can be natural or man-made. In India, you can find 30 different types of disaster that will affect the economic and other sections of human development. Okay, here you can say 30 different types and massive scale. Okay, these are the keywords. Then types of disaster: water and climate disasters are there, where flood, hailstorms, cloudburst, cyclones, heat waves, cold waves, droughts, and hurricanes. Almost natural things will be there. Then geological disasters is then landsliding, earthquake, volcanic eruptions, tornadoes are also there. Then biological disaster is also the viral epidemics. Biological disaster can be this virus pandemic. Pest attacks is there. Then cattle epidemic is there. Then locust plagues are also there. Industrial disasters can be chemical or industrial accidents, mines or fires or oil spills. Okay. Then nuclear disaster, nuclear core meltdowns, radiation poisoning. Then man-made disasters, urban forest fires, oil spills, the collapse of huge building structures. Okay, these are the man-made. Then types of disasters, here you can find that flood is there, then here the jungle got fire. Then how will do disaster management? Okay, see, Disaster Management Act 2005 defines disaster management as an integrated process of planning, organizing, coordinating, and implementing. See, disaster management phases is there. First is preparedness, second is response, then recovery, then mitigation. Okay, then prevention of threat of any disaster. You can find this in Disaster Management Act 2005. Then reduction of risk of any disaster and or its consequences. Then readiness to deal with any disaster. Then promptness in dealing with disaster. Assessing the severity of the effects of disaster, rescue and relief. Then rehabilitation and reconstructions. Okay. Then agencies involved in disaster management. See, National Disaster Management Authority is there, NDMA, at central level, headed by our Prime Minister. Okay, headed by Prime Minister of India. The National Disaster Response Force is under this NDMA. This force is under NDMA. The National Executive Committee is that the NEC is composed of high-profile minister members, Government of India, that include Union of Home Secretary. Okay, NEC chairperson is Home Secretary, who is currently Mr. Amit Shah. And secretaries to the Government of India, like Ministries, Department of Agricultural, Atomic Energy, Defense, Drinking Water Supply, Environment and Forest, etc. The NEC prepares the National Plan for Disaster Management as per the National Policy on Disaster Management. Okay. Then agencies involved in disaster management, then state level disaster management authority is there, and national level NDMA is there. State level is headed by Chief Minister, and the state government has a state executive committee also, like NEC, okay, which assists the state disaster management authority on disaster management. Then district disaster management authority is also the DTMA, is by district collector. Okay, whoever will be collector, they will had this district disaster management authority, then deputy commissioner or district magistrate, depending upon the situation. It's the elected representative objectives of local authorities and co-chairperson. The DTMA ensures that the guidelines from by NDMA and SDMA are followed by all local departments of the state government and the district level and the local authorities in the district. Okay. Then what are the local authorities? So local authorities would be include Panchayati Raj. Okay, this Panchayati Raj is there, and Panchayati Raj institutions is there, municipalities is there, district and the cantonment 11 institutional and legal arrangements boards, towns planning authority which control manage and civic services is also there. Okay, then biological disaster. What are the biological disaster? We'll talk about the devastating effects caused by an enormous spread of certain kind of living organism that may spread disease with viruses or an infestation of the plant, animal, or insect life of on an epidemic or pandemic level. Then epidemic level indicates a disaster that affects many people in a given area or community. And pandemic level indicates a disaster that affects a much larger region, sometimes the entire continent, even whole planet. For example, H1N1 or swine flu pandemic. Okay. To know more about bioterrorism, the threat of India's weapons, is the link to the site. Okay. Then biological disaster important points. The nodal ministry of handling epidemics. Okay. See, coronavirus 19 is a pandemic. Epidemics is nothing but enlarges itself in a smaller area. Then Minister of Health and Family Welfare Decision Making and Advisory Body Emergency Medical Relief Providing. The Nodal Minister of Handling Epidemics is there. The primary responsibility of dealing with biological disasters is with state governments. Okay, regional health is a state subject. Health is not a central subject. Okay. The nodal agency for investigating outbreaks, National Institute of Communicable Diseases (NICD) is there. The nodal Ministry of Biological Warfare is the Ministry of Home Affairs. Biological warfare is the use of biological agents as an act of war. Okay. Then biological disaster classifications. Charles Baldwin developed the symbol of biohazard in 1966. The U.S. Centers for the Disease Control classifies biohazards into four biosafety levels as follows. BSL-1 is bacteria, viruses, including Bacillus subtilis, some cells, cultures, canine, hepatitis, and non-infectious bacteria. Protection is only facial protection and gloves. Okay, this is the BSL-1. Then BSL-2 is bacteria virus that cause mild diseases to human or are difficult to contact by aerosol in a lab setting such as hepatitis A, B, C, mumps, measles, HIV, etc. Protection use of autoclaves for sterilizing and biological safety cabinets. BSL-3 is bacteria and viruses causing severe to fatal disease in humans. Example: West Nile virus, anthrax, MERS, coronavirus. Okay. Protection, stringent safety protocols such as the use of respirators to prevent airborne infections. Then BSL-4 is also the potential fatal to human beings viruses like Ebola virus, Marburg viruses, Lassa fever, etc. Protection is of positive pressure personal suit with a segregated air supply. So biological disaster can be classified into four types as per biosafety levels, US centers. Okay. That we have discussed. Then legislation for prevention of biohazards in India. Okay, the following legislation have been enacted in India for the prevention of biohazards and implementation of protective and eradicative containing measures when there is an outbreak. Okay, the Water Prevention and Control of Pollution Act 1974 is there. Then Air Prevention and Control Pollution Act 81 is there, 1981 is there, then Environmental Protection Act 1996 and the Rules 1996. The Disaster Management Act 2005 provides for the institutional and operational framework disaster prevention, mitigation, and response preparedness for recovery at all levels. Okay. The prevention of biological hazards is the preventing measures for workers in the field. Okay. Engineering controls we can do to help prevent the spread of such disasters, including proper ventilation, installing negative pressure, and usage of EV lamps. Then personal hygiene is there, washing hands with liquid soap, proper care for the clothes that have been exposed to provide a contaminated environment. Okay, then personal protection equipment is there, mask, protective clothing, gloves, face shield and eye shield, shoe covers is also there. Then sterilizing using ultra heat or high pressure to eliminate bacteria or using biocide to kill microbes. Okay. Then respiratory, surgical mask, respirators, powered air purifying respirators, stated PAPR, okay, air supplying respirators is also there. So these are the preventions. Then prevention of biological hazards, environmental management, safe water supply, proper maintenance and stress pipelines to prevent waterborne diseases such as cholera, typhoid, hepatitis, dysentery, etc. Awareness of personal hygiene, provisions of washing, clothing, cleaning, bathing, avoid the crowd, no overcrowding, etc. Then vector control is also there. Environmental engineers working on generate integrated vector control measures. Okay. Then water management, not permitting water to stagnate or collect, and other methods to eliminate breeding places of vectors. Then regular spraying of insecticides, outdoor foraging for controlling the vectors. Okay, controlling the population of rodents. Okay. Then post-disaster epidemics of prevention is that the risk of epidemics is increased after any biological disaster. The integrated disease surveillance system IDSS monitors the source of modes of disease spreading and investigate then epidemics. Okay. Then detection and containment development that consist of four steps as given under the recognizing and diagnosing primary healthcare practitioners. Then communicating surveillance information for public health authorities. Then epidemiological analysis of surveillance data, then public health measures and delivering proper medical treatment. Okay. These are the steps. Then legal framework for biological disasters. The Epidemic Diseases Act enacted in 1897. Okay. The Act does not provide any power to the center to intervene in the biological emergencies. It has to be substituted by an act that takes care of the prevailing and foreseeable public health needs, including emergencies such as PT attacks and the use of biological weapons when adversary cross-border issues and international spread of diseases. Okay, it should give enough powers to the central and state governments and local authorities to act with impunity, notify affected areas, restrict movement of quarantine the affected area, and the premises to take samples suspected materials and seal them. The Act should also establish controls over biological sample transfer, biosecurity, and biosafety of materials or laboratories. Okay. Then, what are the institutional framework? In the Ministry of Health and Family Welfare, public health needs accorded high priority. The separate additional Director General of Health Sanitation DGHS for public health. In some states, there is a separate department of public health. States that do not have such arrangements will have to take initiative to establish such a department. Then operational framework is also there at the national level. There is no policy on biological disaster. The existing contingency plan of MOH adaptively is about 10 years old and needs extensive revisions. All components related to public health are namely apex insurance, field epidemiology, surveillance, teaching, training, and research, etc. need to be strengthened. Okay. At the operational level, command and control are identifiable clearly at the district level, or the district collector is vested with certain powers to requisition resources, notify diseases, inspect any premises, seek help from the administrator center, enforce quarantine, etc. However, there is no concept of an incident command system wherein the entire action is brought under the ambit of an incident commander. Okay, with the support of discipline, logistics, finance, technical teams, etc. There is an urgent need of establishing an incident command system in every district. There is a shortage of medical paramedical staff at the district and sub-district levels. There is also an acute shortage of public health specialists, epidemiologists, clinical micrologists, and virologists. Biosafety laboratories are required for the prompt diagnosis of the agents for the effective management and biological disasters. There is BSL-4 laboratory in the human health sector. BSL-3 laboratories are also limited. Major issues remain regarding biosecurity and indigenous capability of preparing diagnostic reagents and quality assurance. Lack of an integrated ambulance network, and there is no ambulance system with advanced life support facilities that are capable of working in biological disasters. Okay, integrated ambulance network IN is not available. And state and hospitals have limited medical supplies. Okay, even in normal situations, a patient has to buy medicines. There is a lack of stockpile of drugs, important vaccines like anthrax vaccine, PPO diagnostics further surge capacity in a crisis that is further incapacitation due to tedious procurement procedures. National Disaster Response Force (NDRF) is also that the command and supervision of NDRF would be under Director General of Civil Defense and National Disaster Response Force elected by the central government. Currently, the NDRF comprises 8 battalions who will be positioned in different locations as per the requirements. And disaster prevention and mitigation, like we have already discussed, proper planning and mitigation measures can play a leading role in risk-prone areas to minimize the worst effects of hazards such as earthquakes, floods, and cyclones. There are key areas which should be addressed to achieve the objective. The risk assessment and vulnerability mapping. Mapping of vulnerability analysis in a multi-risk structure will be conducted utilizing geographical information system based databases like National Database for Emergency Management and National Spatial Data Infrastructure (NSDI) is also there. An increasing trend and disaster in urban areas, steps to prevent unplanned urbanization must be undertaken with a plan of action formulated being given by the highest priority. State governments are inundated risk concern on the other hand focus on urban drainage systems with special attention on non-obstruction of natural drainage systems. Okay. Then critical infrastructure like roads, dams and bridges, irrigation canals, bridges, power stations, railway lines, delta water distribution network, ports and river, coastal embankments should be continuously checked for safety standards concerning the world safety benchmarks and fortified if current measures prove to be inadequate. Okay. Then environmental sustainable development, environmentally considerations and development efforts will be handled simultaneously for ensuring sustainability. Climate change adaptation is also there. The changes of the increase in the frequency and intensity of natural disasters like cyclones, floods, droughts should be tackled in a sustained and effective manner with the promotion of strategies for climate change and adaptation and disaster risk reduction. Okay, so with this, I want to thank you all for watching this video, and uh, we'll uh, we'll meet in next video. Thank you very much.